in Jubilee Party?
When was I in the Jubilee Party?
Because we've been seeing, no. The perception is, he's running maybe with the ticket of a Jubilee Party. And we've heard the Secretary General of the Jubilee Party saying, of course, we're fronting Fred Matiang'i. Your correlations also with the president's, the former president as well. There has been that perception. I'm not saying you're in a Jubilee Party. Are you running under, or are you considering running under Jubilee Party?
I've answered this question elsewhere, and the same answer I will give you.
Please do.
As I said, in our country, first of all, it's since the advent of multi-party politics, it isn't common that you would run on one party. You've got to work and build coalitions and have discussions with a number of people. The other parties that have said that they would not mind me being their presidential candidate. But the truth of the matter, as I've said several times before, I was a cabinet minister under the Jubilee administration. I implemented the Jubilee manifesto, worked under the Jubilee president. So for all intents and purposes, actually, my orientation to public service and my orientation to national affairs is essentially contextualized within Jubilee party practice. So if somebody were to talk about my political sympathies and party political sympathies, they would lean obviously more towards Jubilee, because if I didn't accept Jubilee's policies and manifesto, why would I serve as a cabinet minister under Jubilee administration? So the discussions have been going on, and I've been discussing with a number of people, and the Secretary General of Jubilee has rightly, and within his own right as a leader in this country and as a public person expressed his interest and his views, and said, in his view, and according to members of Jubilee, they would think that I would be their presidential candidate, which is their right. Other people have done that. Peter Munya, who's the party leader of PNU, said that the other day clearly, that, we in PNU, our presidential candidate will be Fred Matiang'i, we will support him. The other parties who have said that, discussions are going on. I know that in the long run, I will run, or I will, be a candidate from a particular party. But in this phase of my present life, I am engaged in conversations and discussions with a number of political players with a view to finally creating a framework or going into national contestation through a framework of a coalition. But very, very soon, I am going to make public my final decision on that matter, and my final membership of a party on that particular matter. And we will go forward. I'll continue to work with the others, on national politics. And by the way, as I said earlier, I don't know why anyone would be impatient about this matter, because these negotiations and these discussions are painstaking and they take a long time. You don't have to hurry them. You saw what happened in 2002. You saw what happened in 2017 and 2013, and so on. If the discussions continue even up to the last quarter of the election year, and then a decision is made at that particular time. So no one has lost time, there is no time here, and so on. Besides, anyway, as I normally say.
But if you're still flying under the perception of a Jubilee party, because it's lost favor in the Mount Kenya region as it is right now, if you go on the ground, there's a huge chasm that is developing between the Jubilee party, even as they try to revive it again, and the DCP. Don't you think also that is also bringing a very negative cloud bank hanging over you with the tag of a Jubilee party?
I will cross the bridge when I come to it. And
it might be too late to cross that bridge if you don't make a decision right now.
Dibali, you are not a prophet, and you are not a political genius or advisor who, or sage who should advise people on when to make political decisions. The question is this: I'm very realistic and pragmatic about this. And what you are saying is your perception. It is not the reality. It may not be the science of it. I think we are better off, even in politics, engaging in a very pragmatic and realistic manner, in the manner in which we do things. I'm working with a lot of people. I'm having conversations with a lot of people. Many of them are very experienced political players and people who actually understand this country and have taken time to study it and know what is happening. I'm also engaged in conversations with people, even from that part of the country that you're talking about. I don't get that impression that you're airing, but the truth of the matter is this: We will make that decision when that time comes. And then once we make that decision, we will deal with the reality at that particular time and the consequences of that decision. There is no single decision you will make in this life that doesn't have consequences. I am prepared to go before the people of Kenya honestly and sincerely and ask them for support and ask them for their vote, to become their leader. And they will judge me by what they know, and they will judge me by the content of my character. In any case, by the way, there are about 89 political parties in this country, more parties than there are parties in the whole of Europe. Does that mean that we are more democratic than most of Europe is? This political party thing, I have often said, is something that we also need to be very careful about. Because, people bandy around here and elect people on the basis of this. There are characters, despicable characters in the political practice right now, who are dancing around committing crimes and so on. Tomorrow, they will remove the uniforms they are wearing and they will, wear new party uniforms. So they become suddenly angels because of that. So we should also look at the kind of weight we are placing to this. And in my view, our discussion on this matter is actually spending too much time on an issue that I think is not substantively and in the long run, not materially important. What is materially important is people would say, like it was said on 14th of October 2002, Kibaki Tosha. The vehicle that Kibaki now moved on to is another matter. People look at the content of the character of the leader and the principles and the capacity of that leader before you even begin to look for the party. You can come here in a party called Jerusalem, but if you are a thief and some despicable character, your Jerusalem party doesn't make you a holy fellow and a guy who should be a leader, as it were. So Kenyans are smarter than we think sometimes. Let's not spend so much time on this. Let's keep walking and keep talking to people. I value the conversations with leaders more than these petty things about parties and what people tell you, what ordinary people tell you, and you listen to them, whether they're market women or whatever. They will be more inclined to whether or not they trust you as the leader, you come in a party called Jerusalem. You don't become any more trustworthy because your party is called Jerusalem. But anyway.
But the input of a party is a manifesto, is how we'll actually judge you